Hi, Brian here for Brian's Out for Animals. Welcome back to the channel. I thought it would be neat. I was cleaning my room and found some old National Geographics. I thought it would be interesting to look back at animal conservation efforts and if we were being too alarmist or if we were spot on 40 some years ago in saying that these animals, are on the brink of extinction, that we're going to lose them. Or not. Sometimes people think you can cry wolf and that's a bad thing, but really in the animal conservation world, there's not a lot of crying wolf. There's a lot of facts that we are indeed losing these animals. Just look at the world population. Back in 1980 was around 4.4 billion people. Today it has surpassed over 8 billion people. So we've almost put twice as many people on the earth, putting a strain on all the resources around. Just times that amount by 2 really since 1980, which is insane. The reason why you want these animals all around and why we should be concerned is they all play a unique part in the ecosystem. We don't even know yet how everything fits in, how we fit into the Earth ecosystem really. So you want to keep as many of these animals alive and around because you don't know the importance of everything. And it's neat having a diverse planet. It's neat traveling around looking at all these amazing animals. So let's go look at some of them. So this is from 1980, and they were alarming. Of course, conservation efforts have changed a lot. It went from a lot of, let's say, white people traveling around the world saying, protect your animals. Here in the U.S., we haven't done a great job protecting a lot of animals ourselves, but it was more or less people telling the local people what to do. Of course, if you want a conservation program to work, you've got to involve the local people. Actually, it has to be spearheaded by them, and they need to see some kind of reward for keeping those animals around, be it tourist, ecotourism, or just they're interlocked with a good conservation group and they are receiving funds from that group. So it's more changed ideas, animal conservation, from we know what you should be doing to, hey, you guys need to be involved to protect your own wildlife. And of course we have lost a lot of wildlife. The smooth handfish went extinct in 2020. So these animal extinctions aren't something of the past. They are something that is happening all around us every day, unfortunately. And of course the Yangtze River dolphin went extinct, was declared extinct in 2002. The northern white rhino, recently in 2018, we lost the last subspecies of that white rhino, and another subspecies of the black rhino, the West African black rhino, officially declared extinct in 2011. So extinction isn't something that's happened, a million years ago, we're all doing great now. No, extinction is something that's still happening, like I said, all around. So in this article in National Geographic 1981, they said the hawksbill sea turtle would be wiped out. We would not do enough to protect it. There was a legal trade in Japan, and it was just clearing them out. Today, there are around 8,000 of them around. When we put a lot of money and attention and protection around an animal, we can save a species, which is so important to know. It's not all gloom and doom. Black rhino, 1981, there was around 15,000 to 25,000. And around 1,500 in Kenya. Of course, the rhinos, their horns are really their reason that they are receiving a downfall. Poaching is out of hand, out of control. And today, so you go from 15,000 to 25,000 black rhino. Today you have around 6,000, which is a really low number, and only around 600 to 900. So that population in Kenya has been slashed in half since. Going to Asia, the Sumatran, Javan, and Indian rhino, they totaled them all up in the same. 1980, they said there was around 2,000 of those 3 subspecies left. Today, the Indian rhino alone has 3,700. I was lucky enough to see the Indian rhino just a few years ago when I was in India at the Kaziranga National Park. I have lots of playlists of all my travels and seeing the species out there. So yes, they put a lot of attention to it, they put a lot of protection to it. They are saving the Indian rhino. However, the Javan is only around 60 to 70 individuals left. That is going to be an extinct animal, unfortunately. You can't have 60 or 70 or something unless you're going to pour a whole bunch of anti-poaching patrols around them and really do what you can. But That's pretty sad. The Sumatran rhino is around 80, but they are losing land fast in Sumatra. The Bengal tiger, one of my favorite animals to see in the wild there in India. Of course, I have lots of videos of me driving around in a Jeep looking at Bengal tigers. In 1981, when this article was written, there was around 4,000 of them. You're saying, well, that's a lot. That's more than we have now, because today the estimate's around 3,167. The problem with the Bengal tiger is around 81. You don't really know. It's just an estimate. They didn't really use camera trapping and drones and all that stuff. So it was just an estimate. But we do know when technology entered the field that it was a lot easier to get a good count on animals. Between 2006 2010, the Bengal tiger was just around 1,700 individuals. So we pretty much times that by 2. Now again, it could be that there's more camera traps out there, there's more people paying attention, so they're more of a proper head count. But that went up 81 and down to the early 2000s and then up again. Hopefully that'll be more of a success story as the populations keep going up. Now this came from a zookeeper publication called AAZK. And it was animals we should be paying attention of. This is about 20 years old, so we'll see how we've done with these animals in 20 years. The Sumatran tiger, they thought, was probably going to go. There's around 350 to 500 of them. That population is on the decline, obviously, but hopefully in Sumatra they get their act together and really save that species. The giant panda. Oddly enough, the giant panda is now a success story. I believe 2 years ago China removed it from the endangered species list, and there's around 1,800 of them now. The polar bear, problem with the polar bear, it is the poster child of climate change. Climate change, unfortunately, went from a scientific issue to a political issue, and whenever anything gets politicized, there's too much opinion and spin and all that. It just should be scientific. But that's not the world we live in by far. Polar bear populations, some have held and some have dropped. It all depends if you want to look at the entire population as one, which really people don't. Researchers look at individual populations. For instance, the Hudson Bay in Canada, their population, I believe, has dropped about 80%. So it is on a sharp decline. And of course, I think even people that really hated the whole idea of climate change at first, I think they're even now willing to realize that the earth is warming up. The argument is, are we causing it as people, or is it just a natural thing? That should have been the argument all along, not is it happening or not, because look around. In short, support good wildlife conservation. I'll have lots of links in the bottom of this video for interesting articles. You can see how the world of wildlife conservation has played out for the last 20-30 years. But yeah, it was really interesting to find this and to see like which animals we paid attention to and we helped out, and which animals we have failed in the last 40 years or so. Thanks for watching.